Hey and welcome to Neverwinter with Aragon. So here I'm going to cover the best in slot setup you should use for all classes in terms of what companions to get. Particularly I want to focus on account-wide companions, ones that you can use then on all your alternate characters in order to kit them out too. So for example, if you want, like me, a full set of 9 characters, all fully kitted out with companions. You don't want to go overboard and have to buy minimum 5 companions for every single character. That's a ridiculous 45 different companions. So you want to take advantage of account-wide companions and companions that are going to be useful on a lot of classes at once rather than having just very specific ones for your class. And you can see each table for each class and what of the companions I recommend for that to min-max to get all of the best in slot bonuses. There are of course some alternatives and some you may want to use as an exception just to tweak things. In this video we're going to go through every one of these classes. You can pause here, snapshot these, but I will show all of them again later and talk you a bit through my reasoning of why these different selections for the different classes. For tanks and healers, it ultimately boils down a lot to what your forte is. If you also wanted to kit out every single class, well, you would need 22 different companions there. The majority, fortunately, are account-wide. So first of all, I'm going to add some details to each of the class sections there and cover you through those tables, a bit of explanations, and then go on to spend about 16 million Astral Diamonds for myself to get some trade bars, to get some upgrade tokens. You want to be doing that during this week now, as it's a limited time sale on those Astral Lock boxes. So let's start things off with a relatively simple class, just the damage dealing rogue. And I'll talk you through the table right here. So first of all, you have the 5 equip bonuses that you would use on your character for maximum single target damage. And this becomes, pretty similar for all damage dealers. You got Batiri, Minsk, Neverwinter Night, all damage bonuses. Then you got the Golden Cat there. Why? Because it's mythic and account wide. You won't have to upgrade it on any of the characters. And then you have the Tamed Velociraptor. You can get it also on legendary account wide. And you can do that with the rest of these companions as well, getting them on account wide. That's your 5 bonuses to go right here in these 5 slots. Now you will want some alternatives like the Spine Devil when you're running multi-target content, just groups of enemies. Run that power instead of the Batiri. Only use the Batiri when you're against bosses. Then you could have a Striker companion, the Black Death Scorpion for single target damage, also making the target grant combat advantage to you. And then you can have a multi-target companion, the Minotaur Mercenary. Just be aware there is alternatives to these. For example, instead of the Golden Cat, if you didn't want to spend so much to get it, you could have the Alchemist, Dark Dealer, Book Imp, Vicious Dire Wolf instead. They'll fit fine there. You'll just need to make some adjustments with gear to fit with that. Then you could have, instead of the Black Death Scorpion, Swashbuckler, who's also going to have that grant combat advantage effect, just only like half the time versus the Black Death Scorpion at all the time. The Green Skull Bowman for some very good, reliable single target damage. And then there's a bunch of alternatives you can use. There'll be a link in the video description. You can access my companion document here. This is single target ones, and it's these 2 I recommend here. And for multi-target, highly recommend the Minotaur Mercenary. It'll help group up the enemies and you'll be able to hit them all much easier with your abilities. So you would only need a total of 1,380 tokens there. It's actually not much to kit out your entire character if you had all of these. 2 of them already on Mythic. The rest you're getting at Epic or higher quality. The Batiri come from your Reaper's Challenge store right over here in this pack. You will notice the Tamed Velociraptor is also in there at Legendary. As for Minsk and Neverwinter Night, well, they are currently on sale for limited time just here in this pack. Spine Devil is also in that pack, as you can see. And the Black Death Scorpion, well, that's in the Astral Lockbox right now, also in the auction house, but very expensive if you want to get this one for all your characters, because it's not account-wide. I would recommend just waiting for an account-wide version, which is what I'm going to do. or they come out with an alternative that is account wide. And then there's the Minotaur Mercenary, mythic, account wide just from the auction house, or the Atramentus lockbox. So that's very simply there for the rogue. For the ranger, it's identical to the rogue. You can skip back to where I explained to the rogue if you're skipping forward to here. And yeah, everything's the same there again with all those companions to have in your slots, and then also optionally as summoned. I wouldn't worry so much about a summoned companion if you're on the budget side of things. And you guessed it, wizard is the same. Again, you can skip back to the rogue section if you want some more explanations. Now, you can see with alternatives that yes, you can get the Alchemist, Dark Dealer, Book Imp, Vicious Dire Wolf that can go in these slots. And sometimes if you're optimizing a build, those can be best in slot. But again, if you're trying to kit out all 9 characters, the cheapest option is to get like the Golden Cat and have that for everything, as long as you can get it on a good deal. You can actually get the Golden Cat for free if you progress with your hero's path. Max out one of your characters, borrow somebody's mythic collars, or you get them for yourself and then resell them later on or something or other. And you get this pack and you can get it there, one of the golden companions. Or you can wait for a sale and they'll resell them, I'm sure. But from here we go to the Barbarian, and this has a tank path now. So there's some extra companions you would want to get with this class if you want to be playing both paths, which I would highly recommend you work on. So as a damage dealer, it's the same as the other ones. Here you will share the Tamed Velociraptor with the tank path as well. So I would recommend getting the Lich companion. You want to get that on account wide. However, you might be hard pressed to obtain that one. It was, for example, here in this battle pass. There was other sources of it as well, but you can buy it here for like 2 million. Then there is the Faithful Initiate. And I'm recommending this because you can also use it on the fighter, but the exact same bonus as that is the skeleton. Just the skeleton is going to be on green. If you have spare Zen, you could get the Faithful Initiate in the companions page just here, 800 Zen. Or again, the skeleton costs nothing, but green means it's more expensive to upgrade, but it has the exact same stat bonuses and goes pretty well with the stats you need on Barbarian. I would get the Duergar Guard. Again, this is not account wide, but you should be able to get it at uncommon for very cheap, as you see there. And the Golden Deep Crow Egg, another one of those mythic companions. Again, listed alternatives over here. And now, since you're a support, like a tank, you want to run a summoned companion, at least in endgame these days, that's going to support the team, like Tutor, Drizzt, that Spine Devil, which you can also use as a equip bonus for your damage dealer. And then the Black Death Scorpion's good as a support companion as well, to give them combat advantage, but it's also very good as damage just for your damage dealer. And the Mercenary for just that multi-target control effect and also its damage. But yeah, the costs add up there in terms of tokens you would need. Moving to Bard, you're both a DPS and a healer. And again, you can see the selection of different companions there. This time I would recommend having the Grumpf Baron account-wide companion and the Black Dragon Ironstone companion, but you might struggle to get these and have to run alternatives, because those I do not believe are currently available. The Black Dragon Ironstone, no sign of it on the auction house, and Grumpf only came from the recent battle pass that has gone by, Chaos Between Realms, just here. So you can no longer obtain that either. So you would have to be stuck with, yeah, some alternatives that would give you similar stats. You would probably want to run the Quickling actually to get crit and outgoing healing instead of one of these outgoing healing companions, and then squeeze out some more crit here and there, or you can just run different gear to accommodate for that and run some crit and maybe power. Again, all of the support companions are listed here too. I should have added Portobello to this list actually as well. You can run that, it's good on a tank. But we go to the Cleric then, and you can see you're a damage dealer and a healer as well. Here I would switch things up, and the reason behind having a little bit different companion setup for the healers is because of their forte and the bonuses they gain. For example, a Bard is going to have a ton of crit severity, so they don't need any companions that are going to give them crit severity. Versus a Cleric, you will need like one giving crit severity, which would be Drizzt. And then you will need some crit strike from Grumph and Drizzt, but you won't need so much because you have Forte crit severity and you can run the tactful leathers to get that up as well, those two stats. Versus a bard, you optimally want to run this debuff chest piece, and so you miss the stats you would gain through there and need to get a bunch of crit strike, thus the suggestion of those two crit strike companions. So that's the setup for Cleric. We go to Fighter, and here, like the Barbarian, you're a DPS and a tank. I would change your companions up again slightly because of Forte and stat bonuses, and you would go the Brunner Battlehammer instead of, let's say, the Duergar, because you don't need as much critical avoidance, because you have that as Forte, and so you could make use of a little bit more awareness and defense. Moving on to Paladin, you're both a healer and a tank. You still get the crossover of the tamed Velociraptor, but as the healer you want to take like the Hawk and Drizzt. You don't need as much critical strike because you have Forte, which is critical strike, but you need some crit severity from two of those companions. Again, you can have alternatives. You could have Zariel here instead of the Hawk if you had that, but that's a lot more expensive. Or you could have the Lightfoot Thief. The Alpha Compy you can get on Legendary, again just simply from this Reaper store in that pack right there. Then as the tank, you need your critical avoidance, needed some awareness too, and so I would go with the Duergar Guard and Brunner, but still having the common Lich and Golden Deep Crow. And then you have the same support companions there. And finally, Warlock, your damage dealer and healer. So again, same setup for the damage dealers and then healers here, because as a Warlock, you get a bunch of free crit severity. You get Forte as critical strike. You end up, you only need, let's say, Grumph there or the Black Dragon Ironstone. And then you can run like the Alpha Compy, the Pink Yeti, and the Golden Bullet Pop, as you will struggle a bit more to get outgoing healing. But you should be easier to get your stats, to be honest, out of all healers. And then, of course, the support companions. Just really be aware that there's so many alternatives you can use. Not that I would say they are optimal. Like as a damage dealer, you kind of really want those damage buff ones like Minsk, Knight, and the Bacterian, those boss fights particularly. But you can see all the different stat combinations and different damage buff ones against enemy types that you could get. As a healer here, same story. If let's say you didn't have Black Dragon Ironstone or Grumph, you could try and get that crit strike off these other companions which also have crit strike. Or if you didn't, let's say, have the Alpha Compy and you didn't have the Black Dragon Ironstone, you simply go and get a Fawn and a Ghost, and there you go. You get your power 7.5% and you get your crit strike 7.5%. You can very simply mix and match like that in terms of those cases. For a healer, that's particularly viable. But for tanks and damage dealers, you're kind of limited because there's very big outlier ones that are clearly vested slot. Like the Lich with damage resistance. That's not really one you want to give up. There's nothing that's going to compete with that. There's the Golden Deep Crow with that flat bonus awareness. Nothing else is going to give that. And then there's like the Myconid giving awareness and critical avoidance. Tanks usually have a much easier time getting defense, and so that's generally not that much of a priority. Ultimately, that's all of the classes, and I don't have all of my classes kitted out yet. I checked through everything, and this is what I'm currently missing. Like on the Bard, I need to upgrade my Grumph and my Proud Pink Yeti. I'm going to skip upgrading Tutor and Drizzt and Pseudo Dragon for now. I'm going to have Pseudo Dragon as like my single target damage companion because you can get him legendary account wide. That's rather than, say, having the Black Death Scorpion. Not as ideal, but does the job. Rather than upgrading a green scale bowman on every character from just blue quality, which can just be a lot more expensive, I'm just getting the legendary Pseudo Dragon that I got from some battle pass and upgrading that. For Barbarian, I just need to get the Faithful Initiate. I have everything else on the list upgraded. Fighter, I need to get a bunch there. I need to get the Vatiri, Tamed Raptor, Knight, Faithful Initiate, Diva Champion upgraded. I'm going to use Diva Champion there instead of getting Bruner Battlehammer because I don't have him and I don't think I want to buy him. And from somewhere, I got the Diva Champion as account wide, and it's okay. Critical avoidance, incoming healing, not ideal, but it works. Warlock, I need a bunch of them upgraded here. I do have the Black Dragon Ironstone from one of the packs ages ago. For the Cleric, you can see all what I need there too. And Ranger, I have pretty much everything upgraded. Optionally, could go with the Spine Devil and Pseudo Dragon. And you can see I need 5,280 upgrade tokens to get all of these upgraded. If you wanted to go and add up all of the ones from these different lists, you can, but you're going to be, totaling over 18,000 upgrade tokens you need, which would mean 600 Astral Lock boxes or so, which is 54 million. Now I'm going to buy a bunch of these. Why? Because I need trade bars. So I'm spending my near 16 million Astral Diamonds to buy 264 of them. As again, per this list, I can then get all of those companions upgraded on across all of those characters. How? Because of trade bars. Each box you open, it's going to give you guaranteed trade bars. On average, about 40 to 45. And then you can go and simply spend those trade bars right here to get those upgrade tokens. And that's a very simple process, and that's what I'm going to go ahead and do. And that will allow me to get a very good start on maxing out all of the classes in the game. Many of you are probably surprised that I haven't done this already, but the majority of the time I have my things maxed out on the preview server and then do all my testing there and then just run pretty budget end on live. Like, I've run the new trial on my Sentinel, my Fighter, tanks, and they're all budget. They don't have everything min-maxed. On damage dealers, it's generally pretty cheap to just get a selection of 5 companions. Again, all you need are just those 5. You don't really need an active striker companion that does very well. Just run one of these as active. As long as you have these that are improving all of your damage bonuses, then you can perform very well. And once we already have them on account wide, it gets very cheap. You just need a few tokens. And otherwise, if you want to max out all the classes, you would need all of these, at least from what I recommend, to fit in with endgame builds and all the gear we can get right now. Things are still open to change as the game develops and we get new gear with new bonuses. We'll have to see what happens with the new module. But yeah, I really want them to add a Black Death Scorpion on account wide. That would be very nice. I'm just noticing my spelling mistake. Oh well. Ultimately, that's it. Hopefully this was somewhat insightful for you guys who are still working on characters and what it takes to, let's say, upgrade all the classes if you wanted to. There's a lot of companions that can be shared between them, and there's a lot of account-wide options. You just need a lot of upgrade tokens. Be aware, instead of spending that much Astral Diamonds and Astral Lock boxes, you can just have VIP every day, and I could very well just wait 264 days of having VIP, spend those keys, and get the exact same amount of trade bars as I would get from these Astral Lock boxes. The only benefit is I get that now, rather than waiting all that time. So a massive thank you once again to all of these channel members for your added support, and we'll see you guys around. Goodbye for now.